is 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and the polls are closed in 16 more states. ABC News wishes to project that Ronald Reagan has won in the state of Texas with its 29 electoral votes. The polls are still open in some parts of the states, namely in El Paso, and there is an important House race there where your vote will still count. No Democrat has won the presidency without carrying Texas. ABC News projects that Mr. Reagan has won in the state of New Jersey. The Republicans have won it in the last 4 presidential elections. ABC News projects Mr. Reagan is the winner in the state of Missouri with its 11 electoral votes. ABC News projects that Mr. Reagan has won in Tennessee. He won it only by half a point in 1980. He wins it again tonight. And ABC News projects that Mr. Reagan is the winner of the 8 electoral votes in Oklahoma, part of his western base.
Peter, with the additional states closed, there are now enough electoral votes voted on and floating around to choose a president. We now project Connecticut to have gone to Mr. Reagan with its 8 electoral votes. Kansas for Mr. Reagan, 7 electoral votes by our projection. Maine, our projection is that Ronald Reagan has carried it, and it's 4 electoral votes. Delaware, our projection is that Reagan has carried Delaware with 3 electoral votes. And here's a big one. Illinois, Ronald Reagan, 24 electoral votes. Now the first victory tonight for Walter Mondale in the District of Columbia. 3 electoral votes for Mondale. Peter?
The electoral vote for Mr. Mondale there in the District of Columbia, adding up 254 for Mr. Reagan, 270 needed to win. Mr. Reagan is 16 short. Mr. Mondale has 3.
This is ABC News coverage of the 84 vote. From ABC News election headquarters in New York, David Brinkley and Peter Jennings.
Good evening. At this particular point of the evening, the polls are closing, as I think we said, in 16 more states around the country. And some, of course, have been closed for an hour and a half in some cases, and we have a couple of more projections to make. In the state of Massachusetts, ABC News projects that the Lieutenant Governor, John Kerry, has defeated Ray Shammy, the Republican. That was a place where Mr. Reagan went and campaigned rather fervently in the hope of getting Ray Shammy elected over John Kerry. ABC News predicts that the former Lieutenant Governor, now the Senator-elect, that was an open race because Paul Tsongas was retiring, now goes to the Democrats. ABC News also predicts that Joe Biden is the winner of the Senate race in the state of Delaware. He is the incumbent there. His opponent was John Burris. Joseph Biden, who is considered a presidential candidate in '88, was running for his 2nd term. David?
Now we have two more Senate projections. First in New Jersey, where we projected the incumbent Senator, Bill Bradley, the great baseball star of years past, now the incumbent, has been re-elected, basketball, not baseball, has been re-elected in New Jersey. In Oklahoma, we project the winner to be David Boren, who is the incumbent, the Democrat David Boren, in Oklahoma for the Senate.
ABC News also wants to make a couple of other projections on the Senate side. In the state of Kansas, we project that Nancy Kassebaum, who is running for her 2nd term, is the winner of the state or the Senate race in Kansas, defeating James Mayer, the Democrat. She running, as I said, for her 2nd term. In Texas, here is a very big one, a very toughly fought race. ABC News projects that Congressman Phil Gramm, the Republican, has defeated the state senator Lloyd Doggett. That is, of course, an open seat in Texas. It became open when Senator John Tower decided to retire from the Senate to do, among other things, he says, teach for a living. Michigan, ABC News projects at the moment, am I correct, that in the state of Michigan, Carl Levin, in again a very tough race for a long period of time, has defeated the former astronaut and Republican Jack Lousma. A lot of money spent in that campaign for Carl Levin to hold his seat in the Senate, running as he was for his 2nd term.
Peter, here's another one. This is from Tennessee. Our projection is that the winner for the Senate in Tennessee is Albert Gore, Jr., son of Albert Gore, his father, who served in the Senate for a good long time. That is the seat occupied now by Senator Howard Baker, Majority Leader of the Senate, who is retiring because I gather he wants to run for president 4 years from now.
And we have one more at the moment in the state of Maine, the incumbent Republican, William Cohen, running for his, Cohen, I should say, to be more specific, running for his second term against the state representative, Elizabeth Mitchell. We project that Senator Cohen is the winner there. Elizabeth Mitchell, one of the 10 women running in Senate races throughout the country tonight. David?
One of the 10 women running against the only poet in the United States Senate. He's a rather good poet.
Yeah.
Quite respected. Once in a while he gets out a slim volume of verse and passes it around Washington. We all read it with great pleasure.
People often wonder, where they first heard his name on the national scene, and I think it was probably from the Judiciary Committee during Watergate, when he got a lot of publicity.
Right. It was. He was ready to impeach Nixon before most other Republicans were.
That's right.
Now, as I say, there are enough electoral votes out now, loose, voted on, and we will no doubt soon have them to elect a president. As soon as we have them, we'll bring them to you.
Can we take a quick look at that electoral board again? Because, as I said, those projections, both at the presidential level and the Senate level, have been coming fairly fast. Mr. Reagan has 254 electoral votes at the moment. Mr. Mondale has 3, which he picked up in the District of Columbia, 270 needed to win. In just a moment, by the way, there's the popular vote at the moment. We're now up to 4% of the popular vote, and the spread remains about the same as the vote piles up now out into the Midwest, with Mr. Reagan having 61% of the vote, just a little more than 1 million, almost 2 million. Mr. Mondale with 39% of the vote. When we come back, which we will do in just a minute or so, we'll talk to James Baker, the Chief of Staff at the White House. Almost guess what he thinks about this evening so far.
Easy to guess.
This is ABC News coverage of the national election. Tonight, the end of the battle for 13 state houses, 33 Senate seats, and the presidency of the United States. This is the 84 vote. Brought to you by Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers and Manufacturers Hanover.